Who here has seen the news? It's been all over social media, especially Twitter. Twitter literally cannot shut the hell up ever about anything, but they definitely couldn't about this. So we are going to be talking about it, of course. As you can see, Twitch, the big headline on everything was the Twitch ToS. And actually the tag before this was artistic nudity. That was before. And I was like, I was at a meeting until I think like 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, right? So I was working all day and I was in a meeting. I actually had a couple of people message me on the phone and being like, hey, you need to see this. And I'm like, what? I have a couple of friends of mine that you know, alert me when something crazy is going on. They try to get my you know, information and what my thoughts are on a certain crazy turn of events. I had no idea, guys, the bombshell that was about to befall us. I had zero clue. So if you don't recognize who this lady is, there's a little video going around. She is the one who is credited with starting what is called the topless meta. So here's some context, guys. Here's some context. I mean, I'll just call it what it is. Lewd streamers. I think that's a fair term, right, guys? Lewd streamers. Like, there's lewd tubers. That's a very common term now on Twitch. But lewd streamers, which is, I have nothing against them. First of all, I want everyone to know I have nothing against lewd streaming. I mean, if that's, I want things to be in the bounds of the ToS, but I have nothing against people who are, you know, sex workers, selling OnlyFans, whatever. No qualms with it. No qualms with it. Get your bag. But, you know, it has to be within certain guidelines. Those guidelines by people on Twitch have been pushed ever since the very, very beginnings of this website. And definitely in the past 4 years since I've been here, every single time that someone can feel like they can push something, they do. That's how we ended up with the hot tub meta. That's how we ended up with ASMR, as in lewd ASMR. That's how we ended up with the yoga stretching meta. There's been a lot of these metas, guys. There's been a lot of these metas. But it's always someone, you know, at the forefront being like, hey, let's see how I can get my attention, extra attention from other people, and, you know, see if I can push myself forward. That's what people do in everything, but it's very, very striking when it happens in this just chatting type of meta, with specifically lewd streaming. And it's never really been new before, is the problem. And as a result, over the past week, there's this little video, and part of it is due to social media itself, man. Like, dude, so what happened was she had this she had the idea to show up on stream completely topless, and the camera was like right here, all right? And she did some, like, I think it was like for a joke or for a sub or something like that. She basically went like this and clapped her titties together. That was the clip, right? And that, of course, blew up on the internet. Everyone who was angry about it shared it. Everyone who was happy about it shared it. Everyone who was horny about it shared it. And basically the only people who didn't share it was, like, me. and when I say that, I'm not like saying like I'm some kind of paragon. I am just ambivalent to this shit. I don't care. I just want to play my games and have a good time. And frankly, that's where most people are on Twitch. Like, most people don't care. They don't really watch it. They also don't really hate it. They're just like, dude, we're literally trying to fucking get to plat on League of Legends or whatever. Like, that's what most people are at. That's where most people are at. And Mad Raving, thank you for that sub, my friend. You're amazing. You're very, very kind. I really appreciate you. So that's why she's being seen here. So more context. This got shared everywhere, and everyone started talking about nudity on Twitch. Everyone, almost every single person had some kind of opinion. People hated it, people loved it, people, you know, were up in arms about it. People were comparing Twitch to YouTube. People were comparing Twitch to Chatterbait. You know, so on and so forth. It ran the gamut, as one might say. It ran the gamut. So, as a result of that, a lot of people started asking Twitch for an answer. Why are they not enforcing the ToS? The previous Twitch ToS did not allow nudity. The previous Twitch ToS also had a specific caveat on there where it says you cannot make content that is focusing on you know, the pubic area or sexual organs, things like that. Looked pretty clear, but it took a while for this person did get a not shadow ban. She did get banned for like 2 days, and a couple of other people who followed up also got banned for like 1 or 2 days each. Actually, the other big context is this Twitch meta that she pioneered. I think this might have been actually 2 weeks ago. It's either 1 week or 2 weeks ago. Basically, a shit ton of streamers started doing it. So there was a lot of streamers doing this now. So Twitch has now, as of today, officially updated their sexual content policy. And that is where we're going to start. I wanted to give you guys some context, and we'll go through all the stuff. Yes, Dixerto highlights a whole bunch of stuff. That's fine. I'm very appreciative that they actually even talked about it. But we're going to read the actual verbiage right now, and then we'll go from there, and I'll talk about why this is, what the implications are, both good and bad, and what their entire statement is, so we can see if there's some issues. I've actually not read this entire statement myself yet. I'm not doing that myself yet. So we're going to read it all for the first time together. This is going to be on YouTube. Yes, this is. All right. So this is Twitch's own statement. If you want to read it along, feel free. There we go. We have received consistent feedback from streamers that our current policies around sexual content are confusing and that it can be difficult to know how their content will be interpreted based on these policies. We want streamers to feel confident that they understand our rules and viewers to feel confident they will get the experience they expect. To accomplish this, we are making 2 changes effective today. We are updating our we are streamlining our policies regarding sexual content and updating our criteria used for homepage recommendations. Now, this one, I can tell you already, as a spoiler alert, no one's really talking about this part, and this part is very, very important. So we will definitely talk about this as well. Most people have only really focused on this because, haha, sex sells, and of course people want to do that. Streamline sexual content policy. To be effective, policies need to be easy to understand so that a streamer knows what is allowed on the site and what is not allowed. This statement is actually very interesting from Twitch because Twitch is notoriously opaque about these things. People get banned and don't get banned at kind of what feels like a whim from Twitch's side. One thing I will say has been interesting is to see Dan Clancy, the new CEO of Twitch. He's been very, very good about at least being, or trying to be, more transparent about what the ToS does include and doesn't include. And I think slowly working their way through the events that happen and trying to make things a little bit more streamlined, a little bit more transparent, and so on. So, some things I don't think will ever change. Like, for example, bans. If you're banned on Twitch, you're given like a very, I've never been banned, but I've read other bans. Thank God I've never been banned. You'll get an email, and it's like a rote memorized email, as in like essentially a copy pasta saying you've been banned. It's for this generalized topic, so like violence or nudity or self-harm or whatever. And it doesn't give you any details beyond that. It doesn't say what stream caused it. It doesn't say who said what. It doesn't say anything. And that was it. So a lot of people would get banned and they'd be like, what the hell did I get banned for? And that is one thing where I think the opacity will stay. by the way. This is completely, it's kind of like a little bit of a side on this topic, but while Twitch has gotten more transparent, and this, whether we like it or not, is an example of transparency. So I applaud Twitch on transparency, but I think the bans will stay opaque. And that, I think, is for Twitch's own protection. They don't want to say exactly what the lines are, and this is a big part, this entire debacle, this entire issue is a big part of why they won't, in my opinion. Because if you say exactly where the lines are about getting banned, people will skirt that line as much as they can. If you are a little bit, yeah, exactly, CBGoth. Yeah, if you are a little bit opaque, we'll talk exactly about that as well, CBGoth. I'm way ahead of it, don't worry. If you're a little bit opaque on exactly where the lines are for getting banned, as much as I hate that they're opaque on it, it gives Twitch more leeway to hopefully sometimes figure out context and be like, you know, maybe we should ban someone here. Maybe we should make this a one-day ban instead of a perma ban. Things like that. So it gives, it's literally just for Twitch to get more leeway. And they don't want whataboutism to occur, even though whataboutism should, frankly, in some ways occur. Like someone, a VTuber gets, VTubers get banned all the time for like anything related to nudity. Whereas, you know, this lady was banging her boobs together and didn't. So that was an example that a lot of people were talking about a month ago. This kind of thing. No, actually, sorry, 2 weeks ago. Where she got off scot-free, but the VTuber that did something similar got immediately perma'd. No, not perma'd. I think larger ban. So that is where they, I think, will stay opaque. Anyways, to be effective, policies need to be easy to understand that a streamer knows what is allowed on the site and what is not allowed. I agree with this statement 100%. This one sentence, absolutely true. Hopefully they stick with it. Part of the confusion comes from the fact that there are currently 2 separate policies within the content guidelines that address sexual content. There's also an additional section in the content classifications guidelines that describes when a streamer needs to label their content as including sexual themes. Going forward, and this we'll talk about as well, because there's something that was just mentioned in chat that I will be talking about where this exact thing is being affected. And going forward, the sexually suggestive content and sexually explicit content policies will be consolidated into a single sexual content policy within the community guidelines. Let me see if I can pull that up. I don't know if it's updated yet. Yeah, okay. Here we go. Yeah, huh. Is this updated? Is there a date on this site? I don't know if that part has been updated or not. But we'll read it. We'll read it anyways. Okay. Sorry. This policy specifies the types of sexual content that is prohibited on Twitch, that are prohibited, and violating this policy will result in account enforcement. When consolidating these 2 policies, remove portions of the sexually suggestive content policy that closely resembled language in the content classifications guidelines. So that makes sense. The guidelines explaining what content needed a sexual themes label were not distinct enough from the language in the sexually suggestive content policy and made them difficult to follow. True, it is difficult to follow. I agree with that. We launched the content classifications labels back in June in recognition that some content that is allowed on a service may not be suitable for all audiences. This was a big W from Twitch, by the way, that label thing. We believe that accurate content labeling is key to helping viewers to get the experience they expect, and now that we can enable appropriate labeling of sexual content using CCLs, we believe that some of the restrictions in our policies are no longer required. Also, just to let you guys know, this labeling format that they are using, guys, is exactly what occurs on YouTube, but it occurs at a higher level on YouTube. I can label my videos on YouTube as anything from blogs to business to cooking to gaming to all kinds of different content umbrellas. That affects the algorithm of the videos on YouTube. And the reason I'm saying this is because it does not do these things on Twitch, by the way. So on YouTube, these labels do affect the types of people that will be given the content via the algorithm. It also affects the monetization a video gets. I'm not monetized on YouTube yet. We only just started about a month ago. But when we are, it will affect the amount of monetization I get from ads via YouTube. So a business video, for example, has a lot higher CPM on ads, as in cost, as in money a person makes for a YouTube video for a single person watching, than, for example, a gaming video. However, gaming videos reach a larger audience, which is why a lot of people who do just chatting streams like this put it under gaming. Technically, it is gaming, but it is more of a business standpoint. So that's a little bit of context. However, Twitch does not do any of those things with their content labeling. All they do is, with the content labeling so far, it does not affect advertising, really, and it does not affect algorithm really much. It does in a little bit, but that's kind of like what you watch is kind of what more you will be recommended. Is kind of how it goes so far. Just to give you a little bit of background, guys. Get a little bit of background from a streamer and business experience on my end. We believe that accurate content labeling is key to helping viewers... Oh, yeah, I read that. Sorry. In addition to providing clarity, these updates will also reduce the risk of inconsistent enforcement. Oof, man. Oh, ooh. Guess what, guys? It's still inconsistent, but we'll be talking about that in a moment. And bring our policy more in line with other social media services. Not sure about that, but okay. The FAQ below provides a high-level summary of some of the changes, and you can find the full policy language, including detailed examples of prohibited content on the Safety Center. Is that the one I just opened? Yes, that is the one I just opened. Okay, so we'll read that as well. Content recommendations for the homepage. We also recognize that not all members of the community want to see certain content. This right here, I think, is the W right here, guys. This is actually W. Even if it is properly labeled with a content classification label. When a CCL is applied, viewers must provide explicit consent before they can start watching the stream. However, if labeled streams are shown on the Twitch homepage, viewers may still see the content in stream thumbnails that makes them uncomfortable. This was a very, very big issue. The girl with the titties clapping, and a lot of the girls that decided to join that titty clapping meta, hilarious that I have to use that in a sentence, but yes. They were getting, there was all kinds of people showing that, like, it's like their recommended page was like nothing but like Apex or, you know, Valorant or whatever. And then the very top carousel had like 3 just chatting streams in a row of like, you know, titty clapping streamers. And it's just like, okay, this is a bit of an issue. That was kind of where things were at before this. So they're saying that we don't want that to occur on the homepage anymore. That, I think, is a big W. However, we'll show later on, this is not being enforced as of yet, and that is a big issue. We want to make sure the homepage, which is often the first page that viewers land on, is more aligned with viewer expectations. This should absolutely happen. To address this, we're updating the criteria used for homepage recommendations. Streams that are labeled as including drugs, intoxication, or excessive tobacco use, violent graphic depictions, gambling, and or sexual themes will no longer be included in the homepage recommendation shelves due to the visual nature of these topics. Streams labeled as including mature-rated games and profanity will not be affected by this update unless the streamer has also selected one of the other labels bolded above. Viewers can still search for or go directly to channels they follow that are streaming labeled content under the left bar of the homepage, but streamers using these labels will not be serviced in homepage recommendations shelves. Streams with these labels will still be included in the category page recommendations, so viewers can navigate to the appropriate category for this content. So you'll still be algorithmically recommended these streamers if you're watching other content, is what they're saying, of that type, but it won't be on that homepage. That's what they're trying to say here. At least they're trying to say it, whereas before they weren't really saying what was included on homepage, what was not included, and this is a little bit of transparency. And we'll see in the future, spoiler alert in just a little bit, this is not being correctly enforced yet. That is a big issue here. Making this change, though, helps ensure that the viewers will not see content they haven't consented to seeing. Exactly, Watcher. I completely agree. We'll talk about that. And the reason that it's important to talk about this, Watcher, and to talk about what their intent is and what they're trying to say they want to do here and what is actually happening, I think it is incredibly important to make that distinction, because that is where the ToS especially needs to be clearly enforced. They're saying they want to clearly do it. They should clearly do it, and if people don't point it out, then they will never do it. People are lazy. People are inherently lazy, and Twitch has had their times in which they were quite lazy themselves with enforcing ToS and everything like that. They've been a little bit better about it over the past year, and we really hope it continues here. And part of that is on us to make sure we hold their feet to the fire to do so. Making this change, oh yeah, we already said that. Share your feedback. We want you to feel confident that you know what is expected of you, and we believe these changes will help you make informed decisions about your content. We appreciate your feedback on the topic, and we're always keeping an eye out for additional feedback via user voice. I will definitely be looking at that page later, probably off stream, just to figure out what's on there. FAQ. What is changing in this new update? Sometimes the content that were prohibited will now be allowed on Twitch if appropriately labeled. These changes include previously prohibited but now allowed with label. Content that deliberately highlights the breasts, buttocks, or pelvic region even when fully clothed. Streamers found it difficult to determine what was prohibited and what was allowed, and often evaluating whether or not a stream violated this portion of the policy was subjective. Okay, in addition, the former sexually suggestive content policy was out of line with industry standards and resulted in female-presenting streamers being disproportionately penalized. This is actually true. This part right here is legitimately true. I've seen a lot of streamers that are not lewd streamers, and they're female-presenting, and they're literally just playing, Dark Souls or whatever. And, they have like a shirt on. It's relatively low cut, but it's not like anything crazy or anything like that. Like, shit, you walk out the street and you'll see something worse, technically, and I don't care either way. But like, you will see, it was very out of line. But if they were big enough and enough people reported them, even for that, they would get banned. There was a random streamer, a lady streamer that was banned, and she was in a sweatshirt. She was literally in a sweatshirt, but she had a hate rate on her, and she got reported enough times that she legitimately got banned. It was only a day-long ban, but she still got banned, and it was really fucked up. So hopefully this right here will at least fix that part. Yeah, that's why I'm giving you guys this context, because a lot of people don't know that this is some of the stuff that was going on. It didn't happen super often, but it definitely did happen. And when a lot of the bans are very much the subject and purview of like people having physical and particular reports, it can often in large scale numbers, for example, streaming, just chatting, things like that, especially if you're a big enough streamer, or if you're a small streamer and got hate rated, it can disproportionately affect those people. Absolutely, it can definitely happen, and it has happened. That is the truth. So, fictionalized. Next bullet point. Drawn, animated, or sculpted, fully exposed female-presenting breasts and/or genitals of the buttocks, regardless of gender. There is a thriving artist community on Twitch, and this policy was overly punitive and did not reflect the impact of the content. This is going to be an issue, guys. This right here will be an issue. I think all of this will be an issue. I'll talk about some of the issues later on, but this right here has already become an issue on Twitch in the past 10 hours since this entire thing came out. Body writing on female-presenting breasts and/or buttocks, regardless of gender. The Twitch attire. So I could write the subs down on boobs now, guys. By the way, that is something I could do. The Twitch attire policy already allows body art on breasts and buttocks, so this change makes these policies consistent. See, this should actually give you a little bit of a vote of warning. There's a lot of body art streamers on Twitch, and they get banned all the time. Even if they do everything correct. They use the correct, covers that they need to on their nipples and so on. They go off screen to do certain parts of the painting. The painting is obviously an artistic type of painting, like they're being made into Gamora, and it's not like, you know, it's not like they're just fully nude and on purpose or whatever. Like, those people, they still get banned. And there's a lot of these really big streamers that do these awesome body painting cosplays. They're incredibly talented. They get banned by this still. So if they're using this this body art policy as like their gold standard example in their article, that's not good, guys. This is not a correctly enforced policy already. So this is going to be brutal. This is going to be very brutal. We'll see how that goes. Then this last one right here is egregious. Erotic dances involving disrobing or disrobing gestures, such as strip teases. This man, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be a very interesting Twitch meta, guys. All right, changes to popular dances. Popular dances such as twerking, grinding, and pole dancing are now allowed without a label. Previously, some dances were prohibited and others were allowed with a label. Enforcing on dances regardless of context meant our policy prohibited twerking at a wedding or taking pole dancing exercise classes, for example. This policy now takes context into consideration and only prohibits streaming inside of an adult entertainment establishment. This is going to be a very big issue, guys. But yep, that is fine. I mean, that's what they're saying now. So technically, it looks like if you have a pole dance in the middle of your room, you can use it. You can go for it. Question: with the updates to the sexual content policy, are artistic depictions of nudity allowed? Now, this is very much, yes, this is literally in their statement, but let's see what they say in the content here. Content with a focus on fictionalized, as in drawn, animated, or sculpted, sexual body parts regardless of gender, such as doing nude figure drawing, are now allowed with the sexual themes label. However, fictionalized sexual acts or masturbation remain prohibited. I can tell you two things right here, guys. First of all, this statement is not clear enough. It is saying that artistic nudity, so from what it says in this question, it sounds like they're saying that artistic depictions of nudity means drawing and art. However, people right now are literally nude on Twitch, or at least topless on Twitch. So this doesn't really, this answer does not answer the question that people are really having right here. This needs to be cleared up. Right here, this absolutely needs to be cleared up. That is issue one. Issue two, I have seen fictionalized sexual acts and masturbation drawings already occur on Twitch in the past 10 hours. I have literally seen it. This is not being enforced. And enforcement is a really big issue. One of the departments, people haven't talked about this much, but one of the departments that did have losses this year on Twitch in terms of firings was the department that focuses on enforcement, as in I think it's the Twitch safety grouping or whatever. And that they need to hire more people for that, guys. That they really do need to hire more people for that, because enforcement is not even. It is a lot algorithmically based, and it is not working correctly. People are getting some of them unfairly banned, and some of the ones that should be banned are very much not getting banned. So this is going to be very weird already, and this needs to be really looked at already, because I've seen examples of both of these that have not been banned yet, and if their entire intent with this article is to make things more clear and enforce correctly, they are not doing the enforcement part. The enforcement part has to occur for everything else in this statement to work. It has to be in tandem. It has to be hand in hand. If it doesn't, it's going to be an issue. Just the tie in Captain America nipple tassels. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's got to be the new content here, guys. Is body painting on the breasts and buttocks allowed on Twitch? As long as attire requirements are met. Body painting on the breasts and buttocks is allowed with a sexual themes label. This is not correctly enforced yet. I've just talked about how this is not enforced. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's unfairly not done correctly. How does Twitch handle nudity in gaming? We handle nudity in gaming in 2 ways. First, games featuring nudity, pornography, sex, or sexual violence as a core focus or feature are entirely prohibited. They actually have a list. Oh no, I think it's right here, this link. They actually have a list of games that we're 100% not allowed to play. And there's a lot of games that are in a gray area where if you play it, you are, you know, risking your account. So we don't play those games anyways, but like there's a lot of games in that gray area as well, just telling you that context. Custom gameplay or visual modification that include nudity or sexual content, including uncensored patches and otherwise allowed games, are prohibited. Secondly, for games where nudity is not the core focus or feature, mature rated games content classification label is sufficient for incidental nudity. This is for like games like Witcher 3 or Cyberpunk 2077 or Baldur's Gate 3 or there's a lot of RPGs that just love having sex. However, focus on sexual themes label must be applied for gameplay that focuses on nudity. Learn more about mature games content classification label. You know, I'd like to see examples of what is allowed here, but what is not allowed here. I wish Twitch gave more examples of what is allowed within these two, because these two sound like pretty much the same exact thing. This is an example of an issue in the writing of this document. So hopefully, you know, they're able to give examples, because I mean, I'm not trying to press the issue. It's not really my content anyways. But you know, examples and clarity and transparency are what they're trying to at least act like they want to do here, and hopefully they will give some more. Users may not engage in simulated sex acts or erotic roleplay with other characters in online games. Doesn't this happen, guys? Like, I'm pretty sure this actually happens. I can literally tell you some streamers that do FF14 content and World of Warcraft content that do ERP, and a lot of you know, what's it called, what is VR chat. There's a lot of VR chat that does that as well, and I mean they're not being banned, so I guess on some level they allow it, but this is incorrectly said here. Then games that primarily consist of user-generated content, in-game roleplay or interactions in virtual reality are not exempt from this policy. It's not being enforced then. So that is a difference, guys. That is also an issue. All right. I'm just pointing out the issues, guys. I'm just pointing out the issues for you as well. Question: a mature rated game that I'm playing includes violence, alcohol, gambling, or sexual themes. Does that mean I need to label it as such? Mature rated game label covers most of the content that occurs. However, the content encountered is part of regular gameplay. Sorry, if the content encountered. If a streamer chooses to focus their stream on in-game content that features sexual themes such as fictional nudity, or overlays their gameplay with comments or topics that qualify for any CCL, they should apply all the relevant labels. Yep, this is not being really applied yet, but I'm glad that there's actually a statement. Will streams labeled as CCLs no longer be recommended in the left bar of homepage? This update will not prevent streams from being in the left bar. That is the personal recommended. That's like the algorithm recommendations, by the way, guys. Will labeling oh wait, here we go, sorry. Will no, yeah, stream thumbnails are not shown in that section. Here we go, that's an interesting part. So the reason this is allowed is because stream thumbnails are not shown in that section. So stream thumbnails seems to be the line for that, which is why it's hit on the homepage and not hit on the sidebar. Sidebar, it only shows the name, shows the number of viewers, shows the game title, and if you hover over it, it'll tell you the entire title of the stream. And I think that's it. Interesting. Okay. This is also not being enforced yet, by the way, because there are stream thumbnails that are doing this.
He is such a great person.
Smiles!
A lovely person.
Literally having a conversation right now, you goofball. Oh my god. We love hearing Jaz's voice.
The best of friends.
I know, Smiles, but try not to do it during the Just Chatting segments if you could, buddy. I appreciate it, man. I love you, buddy. Hope you're having a great night. Welcome, my friend. All right, getting back to it. Will labeling one of my streams with a CCL also impact the visibility of future streams? No, past streams do not impact the visibility of future streams. When your stream does not include one of the CCLs labeled above, it will again be eligible to be shown on homepage recommendation shelves. That's actually a good thing. That's a good thing because, you know, people shouldn't be punished for past things, especially if it's not like an enforceable thing. What happens if I do not use a CCL? Our sexual themes content classification guidelines describe what content needs to be labeled using a sexual themes label. Failure to use a CCL accurately will result in warnings, and the correct CCL will be applied by Twitch to the stream. I have not seen this be enforced yet, at all, in any way, shape, or form. I sincerely hope it is actually enforced, because so far, this is not being enforced. If you fail to apply the correct CCL repeatedly, CCL will be temporarily locked to the stream, but will not result in a suspension. They should change that. It should result in a suspension. If you do not punish this with a suspension, people will continuously try to push the envelope with this, guys. See, a big issue with all these gray areas, the reason I'm pointing out the gray areas, because is anywhere there is a gray area, a streamer will push it. That is exactly why we're even talking about this in the first place. I gave you the context of what started this entire conversation. Why someone decided it was a good idea to, you know, hide the tops of their bottoms of their breasts and just clap their tits and you know, go to town. That this was a result of pushing the envelope. Streamers love to do this in the games they play. They love to do this in the content they create, and they love to do this in a sexual manner as well. This is really, really what happens. All right, let's read their next issue. This is the thing that they said they updated. So, extreme violence, gore, and other obscene conduct. Although we allow a variety of content to be shown on Twitch, content that features extreme violence or gore may be disturbing or distressing, especially if there's death, mutilation, or blood. That makes sense. Content that... Oh, sorry. We're even really worried about that. Sexual content. To ensure content on Twitch is appropriate for diverse audiences, certain sexual content is prohibited. Users are prohibited from broadcasting, uploading, soliciting, offering, and linking to pornographic content. The linking? I mean, dude, people's links absolutely... Okay, this is very not enforced right here. This part right here, the soliciting and linking is not enforced at any way, shape, or form, guys. Like, if you go to any person who does OnlyFans, they some of them even get away with a direct link. They're not allowed to really put a direct link for sure, but they just have like a third-party link that's like all my links or link hub or whatever, and it's like bam, right there, the first link. So I mean, I guess this is a very gray area then, because like if it has like the little like third-party website is the enough of a barrier, really what the fuck is the point? I don't know, that's weird. But yeah, for example, you may not show, offer, or promote explicit, simulated, fictional, or implied sex or masturbation. This includes oral, anal, vaginal, touching your genitals, in self or mutual masturbation, or prolonged audio that implies sex, masturbation / orgasm. Real or realistically doctored adult nudity without implied real or sex acts is subject to our adult nudity policy. Content depicting youth nudity is prohibited under our youth safety policies. Yeah, that, Jesus Christ, yes, okay. Display of sexual bodily fluids. Now, does this include art? Because we are seeing art with this already. Sandy Bear, we're talking about the ToS updates, buddy. So because this is absolutely not being enforced correctly. Advertisement of or solicitation of sexual services, including prostitution, escort services, sexual massages, and film sexual activity. That makes sense. Consensual sexual violence, such as flogging or whipping another person. Yep, yeah, okay. Non-consensual sexual violence. They should just literally say this is a perm ban. Like, they should literally label certain ones of these as you will get permad forever, gone. They really should be a little bit more transparent about this means you get permad. I really wish they would do that. Graphic descriptions of sex acts such as phone sex or erotica. Display of sex toys in a non-educational context such as bragging about the size of a dildo. my god. I love that example. That's an actual example at least. Guys, it's really funny that this is like the first real example in this entire thing. Yeah, got it out, Corgi. Yeah, exactly. Soliciting money, services, or items of value, including bits or subs for posting content that requires sexual themes labels, such as listing a price to point the camera at a fully clothed crotch. What the difference is between this and now what is allowed for, like, twerking for subs? Or maybe it's like twerking that's allowed, but you can't twerk for subs. But that's a gray area, because technically in the previous thing it said twerking is now allowed. And they use that specific example. But people are already twerking for subs. Is this included in that or not? Because that is an area... I'm just pointing out the holes, guys. I'm just pointing out the holes. Pun intended, but also not intended. Users may not directly link, promote, or advertise pornographic content in their broadcast, profile, or chat. While users may not directly link, users will not be penalized for linking to their personal websites or social media pages that may incidentally contain these links. Now, does an All My Links page count as a personal website or social media page? Because I guess that's where they're getting away with it. People that do that. But yeah, I don't know about that, man. Like, that's neither really a personal website or a social media page. I guess in some ways it could be considered that. But man, that is such a weird, non-transparent area. They need to update this. They need to update this and give a definitive answer if, like, the All My Links link is in this or not. They need to really, really state it. Just really, really right there. For information about content related to sexuality and sexual themes, see sexual themes policy. Adult nudity. This is one of the ones that was updated, guys. This is like, oh, this is the question answer. Yeah, a lot of this was in the previous stuff. Yeah, a lot of this was very much in the previous stuff. Okay, so they're saying emotes are more restrictive on purpose. Report brigading will never result in a channel being suspended. This is literally not true. I've given examples of where this happens. This is actually untrue. They're stating that this is what is enforced, but this is not what is enforced here. This is a big issue. All right. All right. Anyways, adult nudity. Users are prohibited from broadcasting or uploading content that contains depictions of real nudity, which includes realistically doctored nudity. Incomplete censoring such as pixelization, mosaics, or blurring effects do not constitute exemptions. For example, you may not show or promote content warning exposed anuses or fully unclothed or exposed buttocks, any amount of exposed genitals, female presenting individuals, breasts with exposed nipples, unless actively breastfeeding a child. I really don't think that should be an exemption here, but okay. But yeah, this is and honestly, the only reason I don't like this is because it puts the child in harm's way on a website. Like this for me, this affects the child, which is why I don't like it. Like, I really don't like it. I don't care about the breastfeeding, but I care about the child being on there as well. Like that really is fucking weird to me. Personally, I don't think like kids should ever really be on a stream ever. It's inherently unsafe. This content lives forever. People can use it, and people do swatting and all kinds of horrible things. Gifted, welcome to stream, buddy. How are you doing? Attire. In order to set consistent standards that allow creators to express themselves without expressing our community doing inappropriate content, we have an entire attire policy, which is detailed examples below. We aim to be transparent around our standards, to empower creative expression and boost creators' confidence with a clear understanding of our guidelines. Bold statements, we'll see how that goes. A list of contextual examples outlined below is not exhaustive. If you find yourself in a situation that is not described, then we expect you to follow the standard guidelines. Standard guidelines. We do not permit streamers to be fully or partially nude, including exposed genitals or buttocks. We do not permit the visible outline of genitals even when covered. This is actually not enforced for dudes a lot of times. Like, dude, how many times has Speed gotten away with this? How many times has Kai gotten away with this? Just to point out two very, very large examples. Broadcasting, and those are dudes. Broadcasting nude or partially nude mirrors is always prohibited, regardless of context. For those who present as women, we ask that you cover your nipples. We do not permit exposed underbust. Overbust seems fine. Cleavage is unrestricted as long as these coverage requirements are met. You must cover the area extended from your hips to the bottom of your pelvis and buttocks. So they really care about the bottoms. Pun intended. For those areas of the body where coverage is required, it must be fully opaque. Sheer or partially see-through clothing will not constitute coverage. Augmented reality avatars that translate to real-life movement and individual characters are subject to the standard. Okay. IRL streaming. Broadcast of co-hosts and invited guests engaging in IRL must follow body coverage. Those passing through the background are not held to the same dress code requirement, but, you know, doing it on purpose is not allowed, essentially, is what they're saying here. Beaches, concerts, and festivals. Swimwear is permitted as long as it covers. Those who present as women must fully cover their nipples. Buttocks required. Sheer or see-through is not coverage. Body art. We've talked about the body art. That's pretty much the exact same. And I've talked about how this is not enforced correctly yet. I've really talked about that. Bottom up. Yeah, exactly. That's what this says, Wickerman. And you are pointing out correctly. So Wickerman is pointing out the part where it says streamers must cover from the hips to the bottom of the buttocks. This is not correctly enforced. You are pointing that out correctly. This is an example of not actually being enforced. In 100% of hot tub streams, that does not actually happen. Exactly. Yes. I agree with you, Wickerman. Enforcement is the big issue here. I completely agree. Context transitions. Streamers are given some leeway for making transitions between contexts with different limits of acceptable attire. Wade, thank you for that sub, buddy. I really appreciate you. Welcome to the stream, my friend. How are you doing tonight, buddy? Tonight, we're doing a Just Chatting stream where we're talking about the updated ToS. I love you tons, my friend. Welcome, welcome. Stitch, welcome, welcome. Okay, additional exceptions. The do not apply to individual actively breastfeeding a child. Attire FAQ. What clothing attire is appropriate for my stream? An explicit dress code would be unreasonably restrictive. Streaming is a public activity, which basically needs context, is what they're trying to say. Evaluating reports will use and making determination whether content is acceptable. So this is giving themselves leeway, but this is also giving them an excuse to not enforce certain things. So all these things that we're saying that they should enforce, they can just seriously just be like, all right, well, we have this paragraph here, so we don't have to enforce it. And I think that's honestly what they're kind of relying on. And this is a very, very negative thing here. All right. Why aren't there specific rules about what clothing is and isn't allowed? As Twitch continues to expand the variety of content we feature, so comes the need for updating the range of attire that is acceptable. Something that is acceptable for a broadcast to beach or gym may not be acceptable for a cooking or gameplay broadcast. Okay, so yeah. But here we go. Please remember that sexually explicit or suggestive content, such as nudity, exposing, or focusing genitals, buttocks, or nipples, and attire attire intended to be sexually suggestive are prohibited. This is either not updated or completely not enforced, because this entire issue stemmed from this one sentence. This entire issue stemmed from the titty banging, like just the off stream, the slightly off stream titty banging. Like this exact thing is this exact sentence. Weird and wild stuff. All right, that's it. So that is the entirety of Twitch's statement. This is the entirety of Twitch's statement. Let's see if there's anything updated here on the Dexerto, because right now we're going to talk about some examples. Twerking, pole dancing, yeah, okay. So yeah, that was it. That was literally it. All right. What the fuck? All right. So here's the issue, guys. Here's the issue. The classification makes sense. By the way, if you haven't followed Zach Bussey on Twitter and you're Bussy or Busey, I don't know how to pronounce the name. He gives a lot of the information I found is due to this guy. So if you enjoy finding out about the Twitch news, this is how I find out about a lot of my Twitch news. I just wanted to give him a little bit of an aside, a little bit of shout out, because that guy, he does not get paid for this. He's literally just a streamer, and this is what his content focuses on. He likes to talk about the ToS and like what things mean. He's like a completely focused on that kind of thing. And he has a very popular Twitter page that does this, but he doesn't get directly paid from Twitch or Twitter or anything else for this content. He's literally just an individual guy that's just doing this because he's passionate about it. So if you like finding out about what's going on in the streaming world for any reason whatsoever, where there's the drama or whether it's like information or whatever, I would just say just follow his site, man. He does a really good job. A lot of my information comes directly from him. Wait, you should definitely get a snack. What snack are you getting, my friend? Hell yeah, buddy. They should just say we make this up as we go along. Yeah, I mean, the thing is like, while I understand what you're saying, that's definitely what it feels like. I will tell you that your feelings are very valid here, because it does really feel like, and this is a big issue with what Twitch is doing right now, it legitimately feels like they are making this up as they go along, because they really are making this up as they go along. However, if they made it up as they go along with a little bit of more context and clearer and more consistent enforcement, it would be relatively okay, and they're really not doing that. That is the issue. And here is why I have been talking about enforcement over and over again. I got you, Watch. Have a great night. If you're able to leave that lurk up, I appreciate it, my friend. Thank you so much for hopping on in. This is actually from just a few hours ago, and Kai is still live right now. Kai, you know how it's said that you'll not be featured on the homepage for having sexual content? If you're labeled with sexual content, you will not be put on the front page. This is abjectly false, and this is the big issue here. This is a prime example of enforcement not being correctly done. Kai was 4 hours ago, he was on the Twitch homepage with Nicki Minaj, is still live and on the homepage with Nicki Minaj twerking on the Twitch homepage, and it's on pretty much everyone's homepage on the carousel. This is a big issue, guys. This right here is what they said would not happen, and this is absolutely happening right now. This is a huge issue. This is a huge issue. That is why I was hammering this. This is another example. If you give these guidelines, guys, here is what happens going forward. One of the things that happens going forward is that when you give these guidelines, even if you say we do not allow artistic representation of full nudity, including buttocks, it's happening. It's not being enforced. This lady is still on stream with this content up, essentially trying to farm views until she gets banned. She's literally basically stated, she said, I'm doing this as long as I can. She's pushing the envelope. If you give streamers an inch, they will take a mile. If it's not enforced, it's not being enforced, and Twitch is going buck wild, and for the next entire week, you're gonna see worse and worse shit. You're gonna be seeing worse and worse shit. This is an example. The reason I picked this one was it actually had censors, so I could feel okay with showing this to you. So yeah, that's one example. Another example is this. As the dude, full genital. This bar was not on the stream. This bar is something this guy put on this picture. This bar, you know, blocking the dick, was not on the stream at all. And here is the really big issue here, guys. This is the one I wanted to bring up. Where do we go from here? Where we go from here is going to be a major issue. In that, Nintendo is being advertised on this stream. This is an issue with how Twitch works in general. You know, I was talking about how Twitch the content labels on Twitch do not actually affect advertisements. This is why YouTube is able to get away with what it gets away with. Because if you are, for example, Nintendo, your content, your advertisements will only be pushed to family-friendly content channels, to things not labeled as mature, and so on and so forth. So if you're in one of those categories, your content will be directly delivered to the people that the content is supposedly trying to target. And YouTube's algorithm, Google AdSense is insane for this. They have so much information about everything you and I like, don't like, what kind of things we buy, what kind of things we don't buy, what kind of searches we put into Google. And that's why the YouTube algorithm, YouTube is owned by Google, that's why the YouTube algorithm is so freaking robust. That's why, like, as soon as you feel like you're thinking about watching a D&D video, if you watch D&D videos in the past, bam, another D&D video shows up, and you're like, all right, well, fuck, I'll watch it. They've put it down to a science. Their AdSense ostensibly works exactly very, very similarly, where if you're really into Nintendo Switch or whatever, you'll get a whole bunch of ads for Nintendo Switch games. And so on and so forth. And it gives you surveys all the time where you click that and you try to, it tries to get user feedback of what kind of things you want to see in ads and don't want to see. And that's how they build up their algorithm on you. Frankly, I think more people should answer the surveys, because if you don't, you get a whole bunch of ads you really, really, really hate. Regardless, the issue that I'm talking about here is Twitch doesn't do any of that. The real big issue here, and what will really force Twitch's hand, is nothing I say. It is nothing you say. It is nothing any streamer or group says directly. Twitch really doesn't care about any of that. What they will care about, and what they have not thought about yet, is the business side of it. The advertisers pulling out. As soon as Nintendo Switch as soon as Nintendo gets wind that their content is being delivered to stripteases and pole dancing, bro, Nintendo's out, man. As soon as Microsoft hears that, Microsoft's out, bro. As soon as all these, very much like, dude, what ads have you seen on Twitch, guys? Which ad have you seen on Twitch? Tell me any number of ads, and I will tell you a quick yes or no if they care enough that they'd be out. There's some that don't care, like beer commercials. Sorry, beer ads will not care. Car ads, certain car ads will absolutely care. Mercedes Stitch will care. Ferrari won't care. Pepsi will absolutely care. Pepsi will 100% care. Coke will absolutely care. 100%. Red Bull probably won't care. Even though Red Bull's owned by one of them, but I think it because of that. And welcome, Mad Raven King, buddy. We're good to see you. Phantom Wolf, welcome to stream. But yeah, so that is the big issue. As soon as advertisers pull out, Twitch's hands will be forced, and they will reverse all of this shit. This will be a very, very big issue. But the problem is, as soon as advertisers pull out, it is too late. That is what will affect you and me and everyone else on the site. As soon as advertisers pull out of Twitch, Twitch is dead. As soon as advertisers pull out of this site, that's why ads are so important on Twitch, guys. It is a really, really big issue. Why are ads being extra pushed during holidays, especially? Dude, all the Christmas shit. Do you think any company that has all of the Christmas stuff will want their ads to be pushed out on a stream with, like, an AI VTuber just drawing, you know, dicks and tits and stuff? They're not gonna want this, and they will pull out the entire site. And because advertising is not given to certain categories only, it will affect the entire site. Twitch is way behind ads compared to YouTube. YouTube can have a dude that literally talks about sex toys and how to, like, wax his own pubic hair. This is a legitimate thing. The guy has, like, millions of views on a couple of his videos and went viral for having millions of views on his videos with this exact thing. Why did he get away with it? Because he doesn't get those ads, and the advertisers, as a result, do not care. Those ads are not put to his content at all, because YouTube has like this absolute iron fist with AdSense that takes control of all of that stuff. YouTube is way ahead of Twitch on all of this. Also, YouTube's ads pay a lot more than Twitch ads, hilariously enough. One of the reasons, side note, on a business side, why does every streamer get paid the same exact amount for every single ad, no matter what the ad is, no matter what the content the streamer is doing, and no matter whether the content directly fits with that with that ad or not? Why is that? It's because the CCLs that they're talking about and touting so heavily of any kind, even like a lighter one, like if I'm playing Dark Souls, recommending Soulsborne games would be a really good idea. That doesn't happen on Twitch. Amazon AdSense is like leagues and leagues and light years behind Google AdSense. So we don't get the benefits, and we're also going to reap the negative repercussions here. This will cause Twitch to either force their hand and reverse their decision really, really fast, and hopefully fast enough, or certain parts are being, a little bit more transparent or something. I think they'll be doing a backtracking, personally. I don't know if this will happen, but I'm assuming it'll be a little bit of a backtrack. However, what this will also do is, if they do it too slowly, the advertisers will pull out, not want to come back, us streamers will lose money, Amazon will lose money, and Twitch could shut down. And I'm not being an alarmist here, guys. This can absolutely happen. Twitch, every website on the internet lives and breathes due to ads. Ads are the lifeblood of the internet. If you don't know anything else about the internet, learn this one thing. That is why YouTube is successful, and hell, that's why Twitch even exists still. If Twitch did not allow as many ads as they do, as much as you and I may hate the ads, they'd be dead in the water. Twitch loses money for Amazon regularly, like on the regular. If Twitch loses ad revenue, if Twitch has advertisers pull out, this will affect Amazon, and Amazon will nuke Twitch from orbit, and they will not have a second thought. That is the issue. Twitch is really playing with fire here, and if they do not really make things more transparent, they're fucked. That is the entire statement, guys. Hope you enjoyed my talk about it, my friends. Hope you enjoyed my talk. Now if you have any questions, let me know. Phantom Wolf, welcome to stream, buddy. How are you doing tonight? I hope you liked my talk. This will be hopefully going up on YouTube tomorrow. I know it's a very timely topic, so I'll try to put up tomorrow. It's always either paid site-wise or ads. Yeah, exactly. But for like a site like Twitch, it's via ads. No matter how much you pay Twitch with subs, like if every person that used Twitch paid Twitch with subs, maybe then they'd not have as many ads. But even still, they'd probably still have the same amount of ads. Ads just make so much more money. The amount of money that you and I get as streamers, or like, I don't know if you're a streamer, but for me, that I get on streamer, as a streamer, is like a pittance. It's a giga small fraction compared to what Twitch gets. Twitch gets a lot of ad revenue. Ads pay a lot of money to website to even exist. And they will not be happy about this. And that will affect everyone. These content guidelines, guys, let me tell you, these being updated, I don't care. I don't watch these streams. I literally don't give a shit about Kaisenet. I don't care about him having Nicki Minaj twerking on stream. I literally don't care. I have no qualms personally about this VTuber doing what she's doing. I have no real care. I don't watch it. I don't care about it. I don't want kids to see it. So, labeling it as such and, the homepage stuff, those are good things, guys. Those are really, really good things. And so I'm glad that it's, at least that's being hopefully a little more transparent. Though this is showing right here that it's not being enforced at all, really, to the level it should be. You can see the thumbnail right there. You can see him right there. You can easily click it. It's not even being enforced, guys. That is the big issue. And beyond that, what does affect you and me is the ad thing. The ad thing that I just said, that will screw every single one of us over, whether we watch Twitch or whether we enjoy Twitch or whether we stream on it. It will affect every single streamer. even if we are completely ambivalent to this entire debacle and, you know, just want, you know, like, I think I'm a pretty good gray moral ground here. I'm just right in the middle. I don't really, like, I don't hate anyone that does this. I have no qualms about them doing it. I want the ToS to be enforced, and I want things to be more clear. And I really, let's just say it again, I want ToS to be enforced. Enforcement has lagged behind on every statement Twitch has ever done. And it is only going to be the same here. However, this problem is an existential problem for Twitch. If they do not enforce this issue, they could potentially lose the entire site. That is the big issue. Not the correct category for stuff as well. Oh no, let me read that out loud. The VTuber that I showed is not in the correct category as well for the stuff as well, and it should only be part of art that is created. So she was not even labeled correctly either, is what you're saying, Phantom? I did not realize that. There you go. I only saw it on the screenshot on Twitter, and I only found that one particularly because it was a censored version. the little red bars that were censoring her, guys, that there was no censor. It was full TNA. It was full TNA. Everything. So all the stuff that I read, that, you know, everything from buttocks to hips have to be covered and everything like that. Nope. That is not being enforced either. Either. So yeah, that is a big issue. There you go. That's the entire talk. Hope you guys enjoyed it. The lovely Phantom Wolf, buddy. What kind of games, by the way, do you like to play, watch, and enjoy? If you enjoy talks like this, I do a lot of just chatting streams. I do full variety every night. We play all kinds of awesome video games. We play League, we play open worlds, we play horror, strategy, survival, roguelikes, platformers. We play a couple of shooters like Valorant. We play a couple of shooters like Tarkov. We play a little bit of everything. AAAs to indie games, MMOs. We do all kinds of stuff, my friend. So if you enjoy the good vibes, my friend, drop a follow. I also do have a YouTube where a lot of this content has and will continue to go up. I've only had the YouTube for about a month, but I'm very, very proud of how far we've come and how it's, you know, kind of steered the content into more discussions as well. And I think you'll like it. So, dude, join the community, man. It'd be great to meet you. Great to have you in here, regardless. And do tell us how you're doing tonight, buddy. Welcome. The nudity is only allowed for art piece, not the streamer. Yeah, that's what I was reading, Phantom. I was talking about that at the very beginning. So when we put the video up, you can watch the very beginning of the video. I was talking about that. From the verbiage, you are correctly stating that it sounds like the nudity, the artistic nudity verbiage, everything that we read referred to not streamers being nude. It referred to art being nude. Exactly. And that is not occurring, obviously. That is literally not occurring. So, yeah. Very, very well said. Holy shit. Any other questions, guys, before we move on? And what do you all think about the conversation? Sandy Bear, Mad Viking King, are you guys still here? Love to hear your thoughts. See how you guys are doing tonight. Welcome. Sorry. My voice is like absolutely shredded after all that. But it was worth it. I mean, that was a good hour-long conversation that we just had. Good talk? Gotcha. Any questions, buddy? Before I move on, any questions or anything? Think so too? I got you. Phantom Wolf, how about you, buddy? Any questions or anything? Put this on this. Yeah. I think it's really an issue of enforcement, and it's an issue of lack of foresight from Twitch, because like if they're really okay with allowing all this, how fast do you think they'll react? I think Twitch has always reacted too slow. I think they'll only react when things negatively affect them, with advertisers pulling out, and they'll desperately scrape to have those advertisers come back, and some of them won't. Wesley felt the same the way you did. They need to be more clear about the severity of repercussions. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I think also another issue that I didn't really talk about is that repeat offenders should get larger and larger bans until they're permabanned. That is something that does not happen on Twitch. That one lady that I showed got banned like literally 7 times, each for a day. And that's it. I think her longest ban was 2 days. Maybe she had one that was 3 days. I looked up a list of her bans, so that's how I know. And you can look up a list of anyone's bans. There's a website for that. I was just curious. And she's a repeat offender. All these people that are doing this, a lot of them are repeat offenders. They do not get higher and higher repercussions. So why the fuck would they ever change their attitude? Why the fuck would they ever change their actions? They don't. They literally don't. They need a 3-strike system. I don't think a 3-strike system is good, but they need increasing repercussions every time. That's the thing. A lot of bans also get dismissed early. Yeah, that's true. That's true, Phantom Wolf. Hell yeah, buddy. Well said, man. Well said. But dude, answer our question, my friend. What games do you enjoy? We would love to get to know you, my friend. I do this to make new friends, so we would love to have you join the community if you like the vibes, if you like the discussions. We do a lot of just chattings, like I said, and we do full awesome variety every night, every single night of streaming, 45 months in a row. So drop a follow, man. Join the community, man. We would love to get to know you. And if you do end up dropping the follow, hop in the Discord as well. They have a 3-strike system. They do not have a 3-strike system, man. Even if they only have a 3-strike system for one thing, Phantom. And as a streamer, I can tell you, the only thing with an actual 3-strike system is copyrights. If you get copyright struck 3 times, you're done. That is their 3-strike system. That is the only thing. They care more about copyrights than they care about anything else. And why? Because it affects Amazon. That is why. Because if Twitch gets, fucked over by copyrights, Amazon gets fucked over by copyrights. If Amazon gets fucked over by copyrights, they get sued as a website, and they have a lot of money that they don't want to spend on lawyers and so on, and that is why. Then they change it at some point? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. By the way, the other issue is, guys, and this is something to think about, as like a part of Twitch culture. And this is like really talking about the cultural aspect of Twitch and the cultural impact of Twitch. I'll just share you a statement. If you ever cater to the lowest common denominator, you will only bring yourself down. And that is kind of what Twitch is doing right here. They've done this kind of thing before, where they've tried to cater to the lowest common denominator. It always brings whoever's doing it down. That's a big issue. Twitch needs to take a hard look in the mirror and figure out, do we want to be catering to the lowest common denominator? If so, go all out. If not, then they really need to figure out what they want to be and how they want to enforce in the future. That is the other really big issue. And the final issue that no one is talking about, by the way, sorry, I was thinking of these things while taking a piss. The final thing that no one is talking about, and I've not heard a single person talking about this, is all of this being allowed now and being like, exacerbated and so on, really affects those that do not want to be and are being pressured to be lewd streamers. There's a lot of streamers I know that are female presenting streamers, as they're using the term constantly. They're women streamers, and they are being pressured by people constantly to make content like this, and they state very clearly they don't want to. This will only increase the pressure put upon them to do so. That's exactly what happened with the hot tub meta. That's exactly what happened with all the other metas with this type. And this is exactly what will happen now. That will be a very, very big issue.